So today I'm doing my persuasive speech on sports betting addiction in young adults. So Florida's helpline for gambling, 888 a minute, has seen a 426% increase in calls to their gambling helpline since 2020. Director Jennifer Cruz has stated that most of these calls are coming from young men aged 20 to 25. So our young adults in our future are at risk of developing very problematic gambling addictions. And this rapid expansion to the easy access in Florida to this gambling is going to cause a lot of problems for us, and we must put safeguards into place to make sure that this doesn't get out of control. The reason I feel like I'm credible to talk about this subject is I've been around people who are sports bettors, and I've had personal experience with people who bet on sports. And so I've now done my own research on this, and I have come to various conclusions on the topic. So the preview. Today I'm going to talk about the problem, which is the gambling addiction, the cause, which I think really is the accessibility to gambling, and what I think we can do to solve this issue. So the problem. The reason it's so easy to get addicted to gambling is this phenomenon called chasing losses, where a gambler will bet $10 or $20 or whatever the amount is, and they'll lose their bet, and they'll then put 10 or 20 more dollars to try to recuperate this loss that they've experienced. And this can spiral out of control pretty quickly by just betting more and more money that they don't have to lose. And this racks up into large sums of debt, where a man addicted to gambling is in debt between $55,000 and $90,000, and a woman would be $15,000 on average, which is very high numbers. And more than 20% of people who compulsively gamble file bankruptcy, and the reason they file for bankruptcy is gambling. There's also various negative health impacts of gambling, sports betting, whatever the addiction is in terms of gambling, where individuals with a gambling issue are 53% more likely to develop a heart condition. 1 in 5 addicted gamblers attempt suicide, 20 times the rate of non-gamblers. 40% of people who have struggled with their gambling also have depression and anxiety. And there's also been various studies linked with if you're a gambler or addicted to sports betting, you are more likely to not do positive life habits like eat clean foods or go to the gym. The cause. What I really think the cause is the accessibility. Young adults and most people are on their phones now all the time. And it's just so easy to download a sports betting app and get on your phone and start betting, gambling money. Happens all the time. And they also leave you with this potential to overspend, where because your account is just linked, you can constantly deposit money at the click of a button. It's the same thing with cashless transactions at any type of restaurant, where you kind of have a disconnect where cash is not exchanged in hands, and it's just you tap your Apple Pay or debit card, and the money just vanishes just like that. It's the same thing with gambling and these deposits. They also fall into this illusion, sports fans that is, that they have so much control over these outcomes because of their recognition of the players and how they know the teams and the schemes or the sport that they think they know. But these odds are crafted so meticulously that it's almost impossible to win over a consistent period of time. And this is definitely true because we know that the sports betting market is pulling in $18.5 billion this year. People have to lose a lot of money for those profits to be that high. What I think the solution could be. The easiest solution would be that we ban the apps altogether. Obviously, that's not very realistic because the market is making $18 billion this year. So I think the other things we could do is maybe include a cool-off period where if you are sports betting and you have a loss that's higher than your normal losses, or you lose too many times in a row, you're forced off the app and you have to wait 24 hours at least to place another bet. So we don't have the chase loss of impulsive decisions. We kind of remove that, let people regain their thoughts, and then they could bet. Also removing prop bets. All of these gambling companies make you, they get you enticed to deposit money into these apps by saying, if you give us $20, we're gonna give you $20 to bet with free. But the catch is you're not allowed to take out any of this money until you win. And the odds are you're not gonna win more than you lose. So if you keep going and keep going, you're gonna fall into this phenomenon that we know. And chasing losses is a dangerous cycle. But that's how they get you to do it, by saying, oh, we're gonna give you this money if you deposit this much of your own money. So to wrap up, I think that Florida has a growing crisis with gambling addiction. And we really need to spend time and look at what our loved ones are doing and see if they have a gambling issue because you're not really going to know by just signs. There's not really signs of a gambling addiction. I went over the problem, the cause, and the solution today. And what I'd leave you with is really go talk to your loved ones, especially if they're young adults, and see what's going on in their lives and if they do have an addiction to sports gambling. Thank you very much.